Please rise. The pledge and remain standing for the prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful evening, for this weekend that we've just had. And we just thank you so much for the rain that we had last week. We just thank you for replenishing the crops and the fields and all the plants around us. We just thank you for always providing. We thank you for this evening and for each and every individual that's here tonight. We just pray for your guidance and your wisdom. We thank you for every job that we have in this community. We thank you for every house that we have in this community, for every building, for everything that we have. The opportunities are in front of us, but it's up to us to make the very most of it, and we pray for your guidance and wisdom to do so. We're asked to be stewards of what we're given on the very short time that we have here. And as you tell us in Romans, for us to pursue the things that make for peace, and those things of which edify another. We pray this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right. Jan, if you would, roll call.
Brandon Elmore.
Present.
Bob Leahy.
Here.
Jason Brewer.
Here.
Tim Heiss.
Here.
Hugo Freitas.
Here.
All right. I trust you've had a chance to review the consent agenda. Any comments or questions? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
We have a first. Yes.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry. We have a first and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Consent agenda approved as presented. We have no presenters on the agenda, so I've got several things to cover. Flag ceremony on Friday. Thank you guys. Every one of you were here. Appreciate that big time. Bob, thanks for helping with the hoisting. Really appreciate it. And it was really cool to see that up and flying. So order forms, for anybody watching, order forms are on the countertop out front. So anybody can order flags that they so choose. And I believe it's $60 per flag that flies in the air. And then the garden variety is 40. Yes.
And there should be order forms at the High Side City Building.
Yes, awesome. Order forms at the High Side City Building as well. The covered bridge. I don't know. Has anybody had a chance to see the covered bridge? Thoughts? Good every day?
Like the terracing.
Yeah. And that's actually a lot of, some folks may be like, not everybody's big on landscaping, I know, but it's actually purposeful. Because the landscape also is to help with the anchor of the corner, so that helps with the ground too and retention. And so the windows were trimmed out as well, so it really popped. And that's a project that was made possible through mainly through Community Christmas, and also through Goodhue Roofing, who did the roof. And then obviously we had a lot of volunteer work from Larry Anspall. We did a boatload of the work. And then also we had some assistance from city guys from time to time as well.
And some other contractors that assisted too.
Thank you. Anybody else I'm leaving out?
Well, Joe Davis, Ron Holt Jr.
Awesome.
Joe Davis had a couple of his guys there with him a couple different times. And
Awesome.
Ron had help there, and I'm trying to think about leaving anybody else out.
No,
But Joe and Ron particularly.
Thanks for the call out. No, that's good. Lions 75th anniversary, they're actually doing a dedication of that covered bridge on August 7th. That's August 7th at 1:30. And that coincidentally is right after the State Line Heritage Days. So that's the Sunday after State Line Heritage Days, which ends that Saturday. So good stuff there. Lions Club 75th anniversary, and they've been a godsend. They've done a lot in the community. So they're going to be, again, not only dedicating the bridge, but also celebrating 75 years in Union City. Vision Corner, good news, the mechanicals have been approved from the state. So finally the HVAC and all of that electric wire, all that stuff, the fun stuff can begin. And so we finally got state approval for the first floor on that. That's huge, because and Tim knows better than anybody here, that's a burdensome part of the project in terms of its scope. I did have a nice surprise when I come into town. Miami Theater has been revealed for the first time probably since, 1960 something. It's always looked the way it's looked, to me beforehand. Do you have any insight on the facade of that? Look at by the naked eye, because I thought it was the soft Indiana brick, but it doesn't look like the same.
Part of it, there's some soft brick, and then there's some fired brick. The part around the windows and the darker that struck me too, because that's all fired brick, but the stuff that's crumbling above
is the
is
soft.
all soft brick, and then there's some soft brick below.
So I actually did it with both.
It had to have been changed at some point. Something had to have been changed or something. I'll have to ask my parents and see what they remember.
What? Could try asking mom and dad too.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many people, because they went to it. They went there as kids, and so they might. Dad had some. I asked him some other details about it, and he remembered. So, because I asked him if there was a lobby or if it was you just basically walked in. There was a ticket booth in the corner, more or less. But so you walked right into the theater when you came in the front door, which is the way it looked to me. And that's what he said. You just when you walked in, there was no outer lobby to the theater. So,
excuse me. Yeah, I know it's quite a different setup than what the Grand Theater was.
yeah.
Oh, pipe. Excuse me. So
I wondered whether that had been changed at some point.
yeah, I don't know. I was very taken aback by the windows and the stone,
Oh yeah.
if you will, around the windows.
Yeah.
It's quite eye popping. So that will be part of the restoration process. And being totally transparent and completely honest, that's my most exciting part of this entire project. I know we've got Apache and K.I.S.S going in downstairs, and a couple classroom settings downstairs. We've got Ivy and Ball State in there helping with K.I.S.S. We've got Randolph County United having an office down there on the bottom floor, and then we've got classes taking place upstairs that the curriculum is literally being developed, as we've been traversing through these last couple weeks between Workhorse and Ivy Tech, and that those courses taking place upstairs. So a lot of education, a lot of advancement, a lot of good stuff going on in that building. But my most exciting part of it is the facade of that Miami Theater, because it's just been an ugly metal facade for decades. And so it's really going to stand out. And it's going to be aesthetically appealing, if you will. When folks come to town, they're going to notice. Excuse me, Blight demo. Holy smokes. This has been an arduous task from the get-go. Do we have an update that you want to share now?
I've received nothing from Jacob yet. So the biggest part of that conversation is the differences in the price if we choose to go away from Door as our selected contractor.
Okay. Well, we have a bid that we've accepted from Door, but we've been trying to stay on them in terms of providing the follow-up information we've requested, because it is absolutely essential. It's imperative that we have the engineering plans and we have the subcontractor, what they're going to do for the retaining wall out here in the backfill. That's the most critical element of this entire project, because the other buildings, they're just coming down empty lots. This has a grade to it, and it has, it's a much different bowl of wax out here. And obviously it leads into Artisan Crossing, so it's absolutely critical that it's done right. And so we've been very methodical in how we approach this with the company that has won the bid. And Jacob with BCA, thank you, has been a godsend, if you will, in staying in line with us and this process and ensuring the subcontractors are secured. Because if they're not, I fear I'm going to have to come back to you and get the approval for the second bidder. But I don't want to, because that's $77,000 more. Yeah. whereas the other one is 7 more outside of where we're at with the grant. So, I hate to be the one that says, you get what you pay for. I hope that's not the case here. I hope it's not the case. So, be mindful of that, and we'll hopefully we'll stay tuned to that situation. I want to give a big shout out to Jason. The car show I thought was really cool. It was a quaint little car show back there behind the coffee shop, but it was very cool. Very nice vehicles. I don't know if any of you guys got to see what was parked back there, but it was, very impressive. And it was, what a beautiful day. And it was a tremendous turnout, too. Well, it looked like from my van. Of course, I was only up there for a window of time. We had a meeting at, 9, and I trekked through there, I don't know, what was it, about 10:30, somewhere through there, when I was through there. And at that point in time, it was a lot of traffic, but
We're going to continue having that the second Saturday of each month.
Wonderful.
Through September.
Wonderful.
And my friend and I created a Facebook page, and it's already gained a bunch of followers in Muncie, so the word's spreading quickly. So hopefully,
Awesome.
the goal is to have both those parking lots full at some point of
Awesome.
cars.
Well, and the building there is the building back there that could really stand a lot of cosmetic advancement. The old was it Union City Garage, or not Union City Garage, whatever the name of that was back in the day, Union City Motors, or it's a little, cinder block building, so to speak. Or it's being donated to Preservation Society. So the idea is to get that restored and then park a couple body company vehicles in there that are of historic value, and make it kind of a montage, kind of museum-like area, if you will, toward the body company. Because obviously we've got the mural on the side of the building, and so we're trying to build that up and make place, if you will. So which was back there for the car show. So I think that's wonderful. That's awesome. So great job. Appreciate that so much. So that's my list. Council members, Tito, let's start with you.
I don't have anything today.
All righty. Tim?
I don't have anything.
All right. Jason?
Only thing is just a lot of positive feedback over the weekend. Number one, in regards to our park, its uses and the things that go on out there all year. People really appreciate that. Also, again, this Saturday downtown with the car show for the whole day, for the night, the band playing uptown. Again, people are just so excited to have places to visit, eat, get some drinks, go see some live music. I also heard that people in Greenville are saying, have you seen what's going on in Union City?
Oh.
I wish Greenville would do some of these things. You need to go check out Union City.
Oh,
So
that's sweet.
just want to pass that on to everybody.
Well, I appreciate that. That's awesome. And kudos to you guys and to the department heads and all the folks in the community, volunteers, you name it, companies that support, all the folks that make that stuff possible. And when somebody says something to me, I always try to stress to them, it's only the beginning. We've got a long way to go. But also, it always strikes me curious about the human mind. The grass always seems greener on the other side. Because I hear people at Winchester complain. I hear people in Greenville, you just shared, well, wish we had to. And I go to Winchester, I go to Greenville, I go to the place. I think I see all these great things. I think, oh, that's so nice. It's like, what are you complaining about? And then I come, I live here and I see all the things we need to get done. All the things we need to do this, we need to do that. So I guess it's just the fallacy of the human mind that we always gravitate towards what somebody else has or what somebody else is doing. But it is nice to have the reinforcement that you're getting some things right, and so appreciate that.
I'll add to that I think that's got to be one of the larger turnouts in the park for the bands Saturday night.
Super.
That was an impressive number of people.
That's awesome.
I don't know if Steve is better versed on saying that, but wouldn't you say that was one of the better?
Yeah, that event rivals what we did with Derringer. It rivals Hip Sip every year. It's a huge draw, so they have a following.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Not my cup of tea, but I'm glad that people like it and enjoyed it and turned out for it. Awesome. Well, thank you. Bob?
Yeah, on the downside from Saturday night, I was up there, and the kids, young kids, were up on I guess it's the fire escape for the building next door.
Backstairs for the apartments.
Yeah, the metal
Okay.
stairs.
Okay.
They're up there with the ball, throwing it down, running up and down the stairs. So I went over and told him, please get off. I was, the women were afraid somebody was gonna get hurt.
Okay.
I guess the parents were too involved maybe with what was going on stage or something. Then a little bit later, with the railing around the old, I guess it was
The what's left of the pit.
foundation wall.
Oh, okay.
So they were kind of like inching across there, holding on
Oh,
to the fence.
Walking on the wrong
Look,
side.
That's probably what, an 8 foot.
Yeah,
an
that's
8 foot
a bit of a drop.
off of there. So I went over and got him off of there. So I don't know if we need to maybe put, at the very least, some caution tape around there maybe, or some signs, or if nothing more, or something even more. I think that might be, a good bet to keep somebody from getting really hurt.
Yeah. Steve and Chief, you guys got any thoughts?
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's,
I didn't even notice the kids over there, so I.
Yeah, and I was with Bob, and he noticed more than I did. To point out, see those kids, and they were, and I, but with the Blight grant, when we're talking about Blight grant, that could, one of the things as that's developed, that back there, that could be part of making sure that's safe.
Until that time,
Yeah.
we can put some caution tape around on Saturday, Saturday
Yep.
afternoon or something.
good idea.
It seemed to be kind of an open area back of the stage a little bit where kids, wasn't a bad place for kids to play if there was some parental guidance or some
Right.
supervision, but they were for quite a while without any real supervision.
I think we've had that as a suggestion from someone, and help me if you've heard it as well, from someone suggesting playground equipment at Artisan Crossing. A couple things. I mean, not a full blown,
Yeah.
but a couple swings or something for kids because it is a downtown park. So, and I, that it makes sense, especially in an evening like that, they could be swinging, safely instead of from the rafters.
Yeah.
So, okay, good heads up.
That's all I had.
All right, thank you, Brandon.
Just had a couple of, county committee items to bring up. So Randolph County Solid Waste Management last week finalized the purchase of their first vehicle, a truck that will serve kind of some multi-purposes in terms of commutes to and from the bins around the county, as well as it'll eventually be wrapped and be useful in parades and just getting the word out about the organization and the recycling that happens in the county. We also, from Randolph County Solid Waste Management, we approved the 2023 budget, and that's been forwarded on to the county council. So that happened this past meeting last week. And then Randolph County United, the CEO search committee, it's a subcommittee of the larger committee, has called a special meeting on Wednesday. I'm not sure the details of what's going to happen there, but we may be nearing the completion of the search for the new CEO, so more to come maybe on that. So I'm just letting everybody know that.
No, I appreciate that. Good news. Good. It's encouraging. All right, Steve, anything? And Jan, I'm so sorry, Jan.
That's okay, I don't have anything.
I guess I can get your name right this time because Cindy's not sitting there. We have new old business. So new business, I will turn to Steve now. Turf tank. That probably caught some of you by surprise, or definitely caught your attention. So if you don't mind, I'll turn it
The turf tank, we did a demo at the practice field behind the school probably a week or maybe 8 or 9 days ago. Basically, striping the fields, doing that work is very labor intensive. It takes a couple of people, probably 10 to 12 hours just to do the football game field with the way they do it currently. In working with the school, with the development of our new soccer complex that will be 3 fields on the west end of the park, and working with Mississinawa Valley, I would like to propose that we look at acquiring one of these devices to take care of the game field at the school, the practice field, the school soccer field, the 3 soccer fields at Harder Park, and Mississinawa's game field, and potentially their practice field if they so choose. It basically is a GPS controlled robot. The school and the collaboration is going to come through. The school is going to maintain and groom our soccer facility at the park. We will own the piece of equipment, and we'll probably be turning it over to their robotics class at the school and having the kids actually work with the robot and basically learn how to do robotics and things like that with this piece of equipment. Painting the fields, reducing the labor. Every single week, every single day that we have an event here in town, it's a struggle. This thing literally painted the outline of the football practice field, 20 yards of the practice field, the goal line, all the hash marks, and some of the numbers on the practice field in about 20 minutes. So it's unbelievable technology. I think we have enough facilities that can reap benefits out of it. I would like to move forward with it and look at having it in place yet this year for the fall season, back to school season. I don't know if you've had a conversation yet with Mrs. Sinowal, but
Not
we
yet.
would be pursuing that, probably some type of a cash partnership with them. Obviously, Union City's not going to take care of grooming the football field at Mrs. Sinowal, and logistically that doesn't make sense, but I think we can find collaborative ways to work and lessen everybody's load with some technology like this.
Well, I'll say a couple of things. I mean, I've striped the soccer fields out at the park, and it's a lot of work. It really is, and it's a lot of work to get it set just right. I mean, measuring it out and getting the dimensions and all that kind of stuff. It is a lot of work. I like to hear that we're talking about collaborating with the with the Sinowal and the school. I'm not sure if it's a by payment type, like each time you do it, you get a certain amount, or if you're talking about, they share in the purchase cost, or with the school as well, or how that's going to work.
Yeah, I think that conversation's yet to be completely vetted out, but I would like to get moving on it and continue with the conversations, allowing Chad to basically structure that deal as he sees best. We've got about a 90-day lead time to take delivery of it. However, Turf Tank, the company, is willing to come and maintain our facilities and stripe them until our robot arrives. So if we commit to this, all of our facilities will be done through GPS and by robot moving forward.
Is it the type of thing, if we purchase it, I mean, I don't know how it is to move the machine around to different locations.
It literally weighs 130 pounds and you can pick it up.
But is it something like we could ask to go to Winchester, because I think if you or Jay County or somewhere like that, because it's the type of thing like you do this and then it sits.
I think absolutely. I think there is bigger collaboration that can be had. I think logistically, we do not necessarily have the manpower to go traveling all over the countryside, but I think with turning it over to a robotics class or a robotics club or a STEM organization at the school and having the kids do it, I think there's absolutely logistical possibilities beyond just our city limits.
I mean, it's an expensive piece of equipment. It really is. That's the first thing that kind of caught my attention about it.
It is, but those prices that you're looking at also includes the paint. So there's some cost in there that I think you're not actually looking at just the simple piece of equipment, because there's paint allowances in that price as well.
And there's a lease program too.
There is an annual lease program, and that's the way I would probably suggest we do it. Take it off in smaller chunks.
I would like to see the school, pick up some of the tab.
The school be an MV if they use it, or Union City.
Ours.
Well, their buy-in would be taking care of all of our soccer facilities at the park. They would be mowing and grooming and, in theory, be doing all the work striping the soccer fields.
What do you think would be a reasonable ask of Mrs. Sinowell if they're interested in this?
I think if we purchase it, then we decide who gets to use it and how much we charge for the service. If you get more partnerships, I think we're already talking about a partnership with the school, that would help defray the costs. We could still work that out, but the more partners you get,
The less control.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great point.
so
I think from a clerk treasurer's perspective, there needs to be, because I think the paperwork is too overwhelming when you've got multiple people paying money. So I think it would behoove us, it would make more sense to have a single entity making the acquisition, and then looking at in-kind contribution and or just a simple payment to the general fund.
Back to your former
Yeah.
point then.
Correct.
We purchased, but then they, X amount of time, every time you use it, you pay X amount of dollars to, yeah. What are your guys' thoughts?
Like a partial amount of what, maybe what they would actually spend to pay somebody, to physically do it. Good deal, work out a good deal that way every time, their man hours.
I did it for 5 years, and the school donated $500 a year to our kids' Christmas. And I spent.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
That doesn't sound like enough.
Yeah, as you said, that's pretty low.
And we was very grateful because the kids made out with it, but I mean, that's a lot of work, especially if you get rain a certain time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so mad that he's just now doing it. But I mean, there was hours and hours spent on that football field, but it's definitely a blessing if it can happen. But I suppose an MOU with anybody that's collaborating with it would make sense.
I wonder if the school could give you a rough assessment of what their cost is in terms of man hours and so forth to do that, so you'd have a basis.
Have MV give that?
Well,
Or both.
or Union City for that matter.
Okay.
Either one. It's really not going to. You can ask MV, but Union City might be able to assist in what they'd assess their costs for. But
Okay.
I think it needs to be fair so that it's so that they have an advantage in doing it.
Right.
But at the same time, the one advantage that everybody gets is that everybody's a little shorthanded, especially in recent time here. So anytime you can save some man hours one place, it allows you to get some other things done elsewhere. So.
Right. Okay.
But it also looked like it had some versatility and some things that we don't get done on our fields, such as the logos in the center and so forth.
Right.
That may be something that the schools may want to take advantage of.
Yeah, that's.
That
Did
even
you
go
say
beyond.
20 minutes?
20 minutes to paint a soccer field.
Good night.
There's more painting to be done on a basic football field layout,
Right.
but I think the football field was an hour and a half. I'm not looking at the paperwork, but I think it's an hour and a half versus 10 or 12 hours doing it by hand.
That's
And
impressive.
it can do like logos and stuff.
Yeah, if we buy the one on that Excel document, if you buy the one all the way to the left, that has a custom midfield logo, and it has unlimited basic typeset capability. So it can put Indians in the end zone if we so choose. Now, obviously, keeping in mind with that, I doubt that we would do that on a weekly basis because you still have to buy the paint, and we don't want to increase our costs. We're trying to look for ways to save man hours and save labor cost in looking at this acquisition. So, but maybe for a homecoming game or something like that, we could do something a little bit extra periodically. But we're looking at 20 minutes to paint a soccer field. We're looking at an hour and a half to paint a football field. We can get a lot of that done. Literally, we could almost paint all of our fields in a single day and not be committing 2 people to do that work. And especially if the kids are, you know, through STEM or through robotics or whatever going on out to school, if they're able to get the benefit of working with, you know, robots, that's unbelievable. So,
And that's why I was saying, like, if we can partner with other schools to maybe pay for service, that it's the type of thing, like, you know, you do it once and then it sits for the next 6 weeks before it needs the field.
well, it's literally going to be used in this community weekly, because at the end of the week, the paint's going to be washed off. Now, you may not have to do the game fields every week, but like for soccer, you know, there's kids playing soccer in the park, there's adults playing soccer in the park literally every single week. So those fields will have to be done and maintained every week. Maybe
we
not
did
a
it
football
twice
game
last year.
field, but the practice field, I know at Union City gets done weekly. So, you know, those are things that
Could it be used
I think it's going to be used more than we think.
Could it be used for cross country too?
It can be used for anything. I could set it up and go paint all the lines in that parking lot across the street.
That was my next question.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
Lines on the street with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another,
It'll paint crosswalks. It'll paint whatever you tell it to
really?
paint.
what's the, and I'm sorry, but I did not get through the material on that. I was too, at the time I allotted to do this didn't happen. But, so I was concerned, or wondering about the lifespan of the machine.
It's a new enough product. They don't know. It's been out, I believe, for 8 years. They have little to zero maintenance issues at all. You know, those account for an occasional pump. It's a low pressure pump. It's a 50 psi pump, where what the school uses is a 900 psi pump. So it doesn't waste the paint like the higher pressure pumps. And then spray nozzles is what you go through, and literally everything else is quick connect rubber hoses. So literally it's kind of maintenance free.
About the batteries.
We would get 2 batteries, estimated.
Either 2 or 3, depending on.
Yeah, estimated run time according to the guy doing the demo, it is about 1.5 hours to 2 hours per battery. He said you should have no issues at all with a new battery getting a football game field done with 1 battery or 1 charge. But he said, as you know, like with any battery tool, as the battery ages, you know, it may stop running at 3/4 of the way done, and you have to change out batteries, and it'll just take right up where you left it off.
It looks
The
like
other
the city
unique-
of Westfield.
Westfield has
Have
to.
you talked to anybody there about their experience with it?
I have, and you know, they're very pleased with it. Basically, the way they operate is they'll take, you know, I don't know for sure how many fields they got, but I think it's like 30 soccer fields and pee wee football and all kinds of stuff at their Grand Park Sports Complex. They'll basically take 1 robot and a mower, and they'll start on one end. They'll set up the GPS monitor head on a tripod, and they'll mow field 1, engage the robot on field 1. The guy on the mower will go to field 2 and mow that field. The robot, when it completes field 1, it automatically moves to field 2, and it starts painting field 2, and so on and so forth. So they basically start on opposite ends and work to the middle, and they, you know, get them all done with very little labor.
Has there ever been advertising done on the soccer field to anybody's knowledge? Has anybody ever seen, like the, you know, like the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl or something like that? You'll see the emblems of the company, you know, on the. Has anybody ever seen that on a soccer field? Is that even permissible?
Most of it's around the side.
Okay, like the walls are on the side.
The rolling.
Never been anything on the field though.
Not that I've ever.
Okay. Because I mean, could this do I mean, I'm thinking out loud right now, so my apologies. But I'm thinking, like, you know, if Workhorse wanted to say, hey, well, if you spell Workhorse out in our letterhead on the field, we'll give you X amount, you know, for sponsorship. I'm just thinking out loud.
If we bought the package on the right-hand side of that spreadsheet that everybody has, we would get 1 custom logo. But that's what comes with the package. We would just have to pay for the programming, or the kids would have to figure out the programming on how to create another logo.
Okay.
But yes, you could have multiple logos.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
I'd like to know the potential of that, but I think that'd be a great, having that ability to program and have that for the class to do that.
Yeah.
It'd be a
Figure
great
it out.
opportunity
Yep.
to be able to do that programming.
Could
'Cause,
actually decorate the streets.
and just
Decorate
from the
streets.
standpoint of the learning exercise, it'd be fantastic.
Well, then-
That's a career leader there.
I agree.
But, and the only thing one of the things I was leading to with the life of it is whether it would be appropriate to, if they were able to get into this, going to other fields or other schools or other places and using this for a fee, that some of those funds would be maybe put in a depreciation fund for maintenance and replacement and so forth. So,
Right, yeah.
so this perpetuates.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. Well,
I would just like to get it moving because we're up against the wall with the 90-day lead time on delivery. They'll come in and start painting for us, but I would still like to get the process moving. So
So you're saying they'll come in and paint for us
if
in
we
August for the upcoming season?
commit, they will paint our facilities, all of them, until our robot arrives.
Oh, wow.
The other
very good
advantage that
customer
we
service, really.
yeah, the other advantage that we have with that, the guy lives in Westfield, so he's not terribly far away. But the other advantage that we have is once he's plotted all of our fields and once he's done all the data entry into the tablet that controls this thing, all he's got to do is transfer that to our tablet, and it's already done. So we'll have very little setup and programming and plotting to do once our robot arrives.
so what say you? And which package are you asking for?
Which one is optimal?
Those are the details I'm not sure about.
I'm a visual guy, so I think having the ability for logos and having the ability to do more makes the most sense. But I think the basic package on the left meets all our needs and all our requirements.
Is there an ability to upgrade if we went to the plus package first? Is there an ability to upgrade to the pro package later if we wanted to?
I would say, but I didn't ask what that upgrade would be because all it is a programming upgrade. So in theory, yes, we would just have to have the logo created and all of that. You've got different packages for the paint and the supplies, but you know, that's going to be a trial and error process. I don't have any idea how much paint and how much material we're going to need to paint 8 or 9 fields anyway. So that's kind of a work in progress, I believe.
Do we want to give a consensus to move forward? And then because you've got to kind of have a presentation of what exactly we're purchasing, get it for us to approve it. So, but we can give a consensus on moving forward with the best option, best.
So can we have a general consensus? Do we to proceed?
Yes.
What do you think?
I'll tell you, at first, I was not sure about this at all. I think some of the others talking on the side were like the same way. But it looks pretty appealing, really. It does. I mean, in a lot of ways.
Like, one thing is if we're leasing or buying outright, right?
That's up to you guys. It
Because
doesn't matter
if-
to me how we do it.
Because if we lease and then we get bogged down, the paint is very expensive and whatever. I mean, you know, then we can opt out
Well,
in year 2.
potentially, you know, always buy out. That's always not to our advantage, but yeah.
Jan, do you have a thought one way or the other? With lease versus purchase?
No, not as far as that goes.
Okay.
She just doesn't want us to create a bunch of new words.
Which has lower lower paperwork.
To me, I like the lease simply because it's technology. Technology changes very rapidly. if we put it on a 5-year lease and you know, in 5 years, if the technology has expanded to the point that we're getting 6 logos and we're getting a lot more capabilities with a new modernized, you know, turf tank, then at least we have the option to review that and know, hey, we could re-enter into another lease, you know, whatever. But, you know, there's interest involved with that, obviously, and that's not always the best option. I just like that for technology type purchases because it changes so rapidly. It's, you know.
Everybody good?
Move forward and lease.
Okay, we have
Which package though? Pro package?
We want to start with the plus package first and then upgrade.
You could always just go right down the middle and pick the middle option, and then we'll know what we can and can't do, and we'll know how best our community can put it to work.
What do you mean by the middle option? What do you refer to?
Isn't there 3 options there?
There's only 2 of them.
Let's see. Plus package and the pro package.
Oh, I've got a different spreadsheet. Okay.
Maybe it didn't all print on this page.
Maybe. There was 3.
So
That
is there
may
something
be
between the plus and the pro?
Well, I don't know. Let me look real quick.
While he's doing that, I'm not very loose power, so I'll be right back.
Okay, there's a basic package that the straight purchase price is $30,000. The lease payment is $7,000 a year, and that is standard packages, bumper to bumper warranty, customer care plan for 6 years. The plus package is where you get into things like parking lots and things like that. So that's probably why he just sent me that for this, for you guys, because I talked to him about doing parking lots and so on and so forth. So the plus or the pro package would be the ones I would recommend.
So even with the outright purchase, it looks like there's still an annual payment for a care plan, right?
Correct. That's the software updates and upgrades.
And that
Oh,
comes,
geez.
and that comes with the lease plan.
Correct.
Oh, it comes with the lease as well?
Well, no, I mean, that's gonna be, yeah,
Yeah, the
but it's
lease.
gotta be included in the lease. is
Yeah,
what I
it says plus customer care plan
Yeah.
included.
mean. Right,
I think it makes a whole lot of sense to lease that.
I think so
Yeah.
too. At least to start out with and see how it goes.
I think it actually becomes cheaper.
yeah,
Than the purchase.
yeah, I think you're actually better off with the lease.
I know that's how Westfield did theirs. They leased 2 of them to start.
With car purchase.
So you get the discount package, but just doing one.
And the middle column would be the pro. I
That
mean,
would
the
be
plus.
plus,
The plus.
correct.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Which one?
Start with the plus and then upgrade, see if we can upgrade.
If the,
If we need
I
it.
guess the question, and that's probably what I would say is that look at the potential starting with the plus, but with the knowledge that it's upgradable at any point,
Right.
as long as it's upgradable. If it's not upgradable easily through that course of the lease, then I think we probably need to just go to the pro from the start.
I'll get
Because I
that
really
question
think we
answered.
need to be able to ultimately have that pro package, particularly to make the education side of it do what we'd like to see.
What do you guys think?
So the Plus package is one logo, and then the Pro package is
The Plus package has no logos, I
Yeah.
don't think. It just has all the sports fields, and it's got free-form text. So you could put lettering in the end zones. You could, put things on the field. You could literally text or put like a sponsor logo on a game field or something like that if you wanted to, but it would just be free-form basic text fonts. It wouldn't be anything complicated.
Gotcha.
The Pro package has one custom designed logo, so you could literally paint the full color Indian head on the center of the field if you so chose.
Either one of them is workable with the kids in terms of learning
Correct.
how to program further.
I mean, it literally took him 2.5 minutes to get the thing running.
Wow.
It was that simple.
I mean, part of me says to start with the Plus, and the other one is just if we're going to do it, do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm kind
good
of
with
torn.
I'm good with that.
Good with what?
Be torn as well.
Start.
Yeah,
Go with being torn, or go with starting
just to
with
go with the Pro.
Jason.
Yeah, at least Pro package.
So Brandon.
Yeah,
so-
at least Pro package.
Okay. Tito.
Wow, I was going to be conservative on that one. All right, I'll go with the flow. Let's do Pro.
Well,
Definitely does sound like it's a great way to collaborate amongst multiple parties. So, but yeah, just vet out the. Well, I know. Guess we don't have to vet out the ability to switch over to because that's what you're starting with. So, okay.
I'll have the paperwork drawn up, and we'll make the commitment verbally, and then we'll get the paperwork signed at the next meeting.
Okay. Very good. All right. Thank you. Ordinance 2022-09, which is the employee handbook. This is the first reading. Jan, before taking a swipe at this, is there anything you wanted to note?
No, I mean, I sent an email out, so.
Correct.
The vacation benefits, all I'm doing is just clarifying basically. Right now, vacation days were given at an anniversary date, and then after 2 years it went to the January 1 date, which is very confusing. And so I just wanted to simplify it, and it's always awarded at the first year for everybody from day one. So that's what that does, and then there's the floating holiday that's added,
And that's new.
and that's new.
And if you guys recall, everybody was part of this conversation except Jason. Jason, I had broached the subject of adding a day with the council last year because I was uncomfortable with the fact that we did not recognize Juneteenth, and I felt it was imperative to recognize that day. And so the council thought they had a broader view at the time, which I appreciated, that giving the floating holiday would enable employees throughout the city to recognize the days that they felt that they should be recognizing. They did a Jewish holiday or anything of any persuasion or background that they wanted to recognize, they could do so at their discretion. And so I thought, okay, it seems to be a logical middle ground. So. Any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval on the first reading by title only.
I'll move we accept ordinance 2022-09 employee handbook. First reading by title only.
We have a first, we have a second.
I'll second.
That was Bob. Jan, if you would, roll call vote.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Bob Lay.
Yes.
Jason Brewer.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Tito Frias.
Abstain.
All right, we have ordinance.
I do have a question on
Yes,
this
sir.
one. What we got in the packet, was that the entirety of the employee manual?
No, this was just the.
It was just excerpts
just
that
the-
are changing?
The things that are changed, yeah.
Okay. Where can we find that? I'd like to look at the whole thing.
The employee handbook?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a copy here.
Yeah.
We can provide it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm sorry.
yes,
I have,
no,
I
good.
have another question. I wonder if I'd like to know if whether longtime employees, let's say someone has been, an employee of the city for 10, 15 or more years, if for some reason, whatever reason, their employment terminates prior to reaching their date of retirement, do they lose anything? Do they lose any benefits? Is there a benefit to be lost by being terminated just before or a few months before retirement?
Before retirement.
Are you talking about like a pension, or what are you talking about?
I'm asking.
They would not be paid, anything directly from the city, I would think that would be, they would forego that, but yeah, like pension, that would be something that we would want to vet out, I would think, with the RHR advocate down in Florida. So, the company that guides us in our HR decisions, so.
Okay.
To be, prudent in whatever direction we would take.
I was just curious about that.
No, good question. So, anything else? If not, I would move to ordinance 2022 -10, which is the ordinance to amend chapter 97 of the ordinances of the city of Union City, and that's regarding junk boats. I trust you guys have had an opportunity to review this proposed.
I did not. I
Okay.
saw the email came in today.
Gotcha.
I was at work. I couldn't open it.
Gotcha.
So I would like to. I wouldn't want us to vote or anything.
Okay.
I'd like
Well,
to,
then, we will hold off on vote for this meeting, but to help us in the next meeting, in case there's any prep we need to do, the four of you have any questions or comments from first blush at this?
No.
Any thoughts?
I read it, but didn't spend a lot of time with it, so I don't have any questions at this
Okay.
point, but.
Okay.
I didn't see nothing glared at me, but.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, just then come prepared for next meeting to hopefully put it to vote. All right, visitors wishing to address council, please stand, state your name, address, and nature of your business, and just remember each entity has 3 minutes. So, do we have anybody? Yes, sir.
Larry Brown, 321 Lennox Avenue. Stated business is fireworks, and stuff that y'all talked about in previous meetings. First question to the council, is fireworks illegal in the city?
No, they're not illegal.
They are legal.
They are legal in the
Yes,
city.
that's what I asked, I thought. Are they legal?
Yes, I'm sorry, I thought you said, are they illegal?
No, are they legal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, this past Saturday, we were having a gathering, and initially, I guess some calls came in, and chief came down and initially told us to stop the big booms. Assumed we were doing the big booms that y'all have talked about in the past, and deemed it was tannerite. And our property, I've never owned tannerite, never shot tannerite. I don't like being accused of that because it's been pinpointed to our address.
Was not from this entity,
Yes, it has.
not from this office, not from the mayor.
Steve Shoemaker.
Okay.
Yes. So, anyway, I just wanted to clarify that on record that that's never came from us. I've never
Okay.
owned any of that or anything.
Appreciate that.
Initially, Saturday, I was told to not set off big booms because they were assumed that was us. We had legal fireworks. We were doing it within the legal limits of your ordinance. And then I was told couldn't shoot no fireworks. If I did, I was going to get disorderly conduct tickets. I stated that I'm going to shoot the fireworks off because I knew what the ordinance was. So, chief left. We went ahead and had our party, shot our fireworks off. No incidents and stuff during the party and stuff. Couple of boxes of the fireworks, flamed up stuff. We had hoses out there and was taking care of all that. And toward the end of our display, Brian Conklin pulls up on Lennox Avenue and pulls in sideways, puts his lights out on the fireworks, and lays on his horn for a good 2-3 minutes, it seemed like. It's all on video that we have, security cameras and so forth. Some people went down there and started approaching him and stuff, and started aggravating. And I think that's probably what the second call that came in later that evening, fights and stuff on it there. I didn't see no fights. I heard some arguing.
Okay.
I was walking down toward there. Our vehicles were parked on the street. I was walking on the street between the vehicles on the driver's side of the vehicles, walking down that way. He backs out because he was cockeyed out toward the field.
Okay.
He backs out and takes off down the road like that and clips me with his mirror and keeps going. Of course, then, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes later, Chief shows back up. Fire department, I believe Mr. Shoemaker was across the street. I don't know how long he was there. I was told he was there watching for a while, but he was there. And then fire trucks came because there was one box that was still had flames to it, or 1 or 2 boxes that had flames to it. We were going to put the fire out, and he Mr. Shoemaker, instructed us to get back. I don't know who he was. That's our property. Told me to get back. I didn't know who he was. He never announced himself at that time. And then as I'm telling him this is my property, that I don't have to go nowhere, and then probably 30 seconds, maybe a minute into the conversation, he did announce who he was. Told me he was the chief, fire chief. And that was his scene to get away. And one of my guests there went over and threw a bucket of water on the fire because the fire truck had just gotten there and was preparing to get hoses and stuff out.
Okay.
And it was just a small enough fire that a bucket of water could have put it out. And we were about ready to douse everything down in also because the show was over. Threatened to take us to jail. Mr. Shoemaker did. Then Chief at that time threatened to give us three disorderly conduct tickets.
Okay.
Then warned everybody about public drinking, made everybody get off the roads and stuff, and then the question I got was, until just right prior to the meeting started, there was no knowledge to me that there was any investigation of Mr. Conklin hitting me with his vehicle. And there were several witnesses there that night. No statement was taken from me. No statement was taken from any of the witnesses. And just prior to the meeting tonight, I was told by the chief, we were told by the chief that he went and spoke to Mr. Conklin and he lawyered up, and that was just today. My question is, why did it take from the 9th until today to go speak to someone that was accused of striking me? There's video of it, there's witnesses. Why was it disregarded? And then on top of that, when the small fire got put out by the fire department, Mr. Shoemaker continued to go to one of our guests at the party that lives close by and continued to cuss him out. So very inappropriate in my opinion for a public official. So, I just want to know why it's handled that way and why my accident wasn't handled sooner. I've always thought if something happened like that, your witnesses and your victim is interviewed right then to get all the facts and stuff right away, so nothing's lost.
Right.
Memories lose and so forth.
Right.
But I was told by the chief tonight that if there is an investigation continuing.
Right.
But I didn't know that until this evening.
Okay. Number one, I have a few things to say. Number one, thank you for presenting yourself in a civil manner. That's the exact same manner in which you should have been presented to that night. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Number two, I do know that yes, the investigation going on. I'm going to give the chief a chance to explain details of the matter here in a second. I will say that my wife and I walked down there that night, being totally transparent. And if you've ever been to our meeting, well, you haven't been to our meetings before because I've never seen you before, but if you've ever witnessed our meetings, you know I'm open as the day is long. And so I enjoyed the show. I did witness what looked like some congestion, and it did look like maybe an unsafe scene with the way people are arranged. However, I do not condone anybody pulling their car onto a property and creating havoc. I don't care who that individual is, whether it's the Queen of England or anybody. That's not a logical or sound thing to do. I'm not condemning anybody in this process though either, but at the same time I can only speak to actions. Okay? It did cross my mind that night while I was watching you guys that I would love to have you be a part of the show at the park next year. Okay.
That was going to be my next thing. I mean, I love shooting fireworks. My dad and his hunting partner and stuff that, you know, they've been doing this for years.
That's awesome.
And I mean, we had over $15,000 of fireworks there, retail. And
my wife and I were wondering because we were playing Upward Scrabble, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's still going. So we thought we're gonna walk down and check it out.
It was a continuous show for about 40 minutes.
Okay.
And I mean, I would love to get with the city and do something on a basis where we can enjoy it, our friends can enjoy it, and everybody in the city can enjoy it. Because
wonderful.
A lot of that congestion down there you was talking about was people that was driving by off of 28 that was stopping. That, you know, people, when we were cleaning up the other day, you know, was coming all the way from the football field. You know, their daughter from Cleveland came in and heard them and no one to come over. And people were saying, you know, how good the show was. And I know everybody's not happy that fireworks go off, but I mean, I was shooting them off within the ordinance. And if that ordinance changes, I mean, I'll abide by that. But I mean, I was doing it by the ordinance and the timing and everything. I mean, I looked up the sunset time, so I knew what time I had to stop, you know, and because I didn't want to do it because we had a lot of stuff there, and
you've got good taste too, I will say.
Very impressive.
Well, here's I appreciate your openness, your approach. This I think begets an opportunity for us, honestly. Steve and Kobe are chiefs. I will say this, they operate, unless you've had the shoes on of a chief of a department, it's hard to really ascertain. And I'm not condoning any foul language that took place. Make no mistake. None. But to wear those shoes sometimes puts you in situations that are very tense because you're getting both sides of a situation in both ears. Okay? So you're having someone chomping at the bit, your phone's going off, the calls are coming, you gotta do something about this, and then you go down there and you're trying to respond within seconds notice. The human element of that is going to cause there sometimes to be situations handled that maybe were not handled, maybe in the best situation, but also maybe handled in a way that everybody there does not fully comprehend why it's being handled the way it is. Because unfortunately, I mean, I don't think you have to look far on a national basis. Sometimes situations get out of hand quickly and it gets really ugly quickly. And so they're charged with ensuring the safety of the general population.
Sure, I understand. I mean, I'm sure I said some stuff that evening too that wasn't appropriate
again,
and so forth.
Things get heated, I know.
And I understand that there was a lot of people that was there that was not part of our gathering. So there was a lot of people there, and there was people once Mr. Compton pulled down there that the tempers flared just like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I totally understand that, and I mean,
but
I'm ready to move forward from that.
Awesome.
You know, forgive the language and the talk stuff. That I still am very interested in making sure that the me getting hit by the car is done.
I agree.
And prosecuted to whatever sees fit for that. Because that's very inappropriate. The other stuff, I mean, we can chalk it up as hey, we all done something a little that we shouldn't have, and let's move forward. Maybe we can all work together in the future and do something great for Union City.
I'm serious as a heart attack when I say I want to do this, because he even said, it was words out of his mouth, said if they want to do a show next year, we could do this together. We could let people know what's going on. We could do it in a controlled environment. We could do a block party. Was words that come out of his mouth. So he wants to support this, and I know our chief does too. And again, it's that happy medium. And I if you don't mind, I did do a statement this morning that I will share with you guys. Well, in fact, I'll just read it because it's not fair, I guess, to share it with you and then not let everybody know what it says. But this is from my office. The morning I sent it out this morning to some folks, and it's July 9th events of 2022 to the citizens, Union City. One of our responsibilities of living in a community is understanding how our actions can affect others. The authors of the Declaration of Independence recognized our rights as citizens to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But the framers of the Constitution also understood the imperative nature of structure to our society through the call to ensure domestic tranquility, and yet still also understood the duty to promote the general welfare. In other words, there's a balance or an accord to reach between our individual freedoms and the well-being of our neighbors, which is what you're seeking to achieve. As a multitude of citizens reported, there was a private large-scale fireworks demonstration that occurred on the evening of July 9th, 2022 on Lenox Avenue, to the delight of some and to the dismay of others. While celebration is certainly encouraged within our community and even recognized by city ordinance, the manner in which the event occurred and its magnitude did wreak some unintended havoc. As a city, we received concerns ranging from traffic and parking hazards to debris from mortar shells, striking individuals' cars and properties, to frightened pets and agitated elderly citizens. As an administration, we continue to assess this situation and will seek remedies to curb future incidents as they occurred on July 9th, and will do so in a manner that seeks to preserve individuals' right to celebrate in balance with a responsibility to the general well-being of others. So in other words, let's have fun, let's do it together in a way that everybody's safe and we can still celebrate. Does that sound fair?
Sounds
fair.
Awesome.
If
Thank
you
you
don't
so
like
much.
something, don't attend.
Yeah, well, and that's fair. I agree. I think the problem was in some instances folks were caught off guard and so I think there's a structured way we can do this where everybody in the area is informed of what's going on. And my wife shared with me, I don't do Facebook, let's apologize. But my wife shared that you did send out a notice via Facebook, hey, this is what's happening. So appreciate that.
And all of our neighbors were notified.
Awesome. Awesome.
That if you have pets, please give them medicine or take them downstairs. Whatever you normally do for 4th of July, we're going to have a large-scale fireworks show. Please make arrangements to do that for July 9th.
Okay.
All of my local neighbors right around our house were notified of that.
Awesome.
And actually the next day they came to us and told us, the one, Mrs. Opp, she said that was the most beautiful fireworks I've ever seen. It was better than Kings Island.
Oh, gee.
And so that puts us
That's
on.
pretty big shoes.
That's pretty big shoes to fill.
Right.
And then some of the other people on the street behind us, I think it's Meadow Street, she came over and was so thankful and said it was the most beautiful show she'd seen. So, there again, we're not trying to hurt anyone. We're not trying to be disrespectful to anyone. We love to celebrate and have a celebration with our friends and family, and we had all walks of life there. I'm not sure if you heard, we had a big Amish community, 3 families there. We had people from Tennessee there. We had people from Ohio there. So there was a big, large group of friends there to celebrate. And unfortunately, there were some not so great events that happened last week. I had a death of a very close family member. So we were also celebrating his life as well. So it all kind of tuned in together. We hated that it ended up like it did. We talked about this that night. We need to get with the city and work with the city, and maybe we can have it so all the citizens of Union City can enjoy it, because we do want everyone to enjoy it. We want to be more involved with the city.
we've just been here since 2018, so we're fairly new citizens here. And we love it here.
My middle brother already loves you with the shirt you're wearing, so you're.
All the way to the shoes.
Yeah, almost there. That's awesome.
So, you know, that's why we're here tonight, and,
So for me, anything that was said to Mr. Shoemaker and Chief from me, I apologize. And I say let's put that behind us and move forward. And if we can work something out with the city, I mean that'd be a huge goal for me to be a part of putting on the city fireworks. You know,
That's great.
You know, and,
Then let's do that.
I mean, it's a lot of I mean, for what we done, it's a lot of work. But you know, if you get a city involved in it, I mean, the more people you got doing stuff, the less work it's for everybody. You know, so.
Amen.
And they can chip in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've stressed from the day I took office. I can't stress this enough. It's about being in a community.
absolutely.
The community means everybody gets involved. Life's not a solo sport.
Right.
And I'm so sorry for your loss too, by the way.
Thank you.
We're not meant to go this thing alone. And so this is, out of chaos can come opportunity for sure. And I think this is that. So thank you.
And I've got a budget in mind for you already for next year.
Awesome. Well, we can merge budgets for sure, because I think that we can make something.
Hey, we do a lot of fundraisers and stuff like that. I mean, the car show, I mean, I was involved with the J County Wrestling Club, and we've done car shows, and I was in charge of the fundraising and stuff. So I mean, there's so many opportunities for fundraising and stuff for stuff like this that to me it comes natural to do stuff as long as you have people to help you. It's hard for one person to do it, as you know, probably know, started it or whatever your car show. Hopefully you had a lot of help.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of work.
It is.
You know,
It is.
so.
Have you seen our lights at the park? Community Christmas yet?
Oh, yes, we
Yes.
have.
Okay, I feel for you, because I start next month. So yeah, so it is a lot of work, but the more people that get involved, the easier the lifting is. Because this poor gentleman to my left has done the brunt of what is called arts, music, and entertainment. He's done the brunt of that, and finally now we're getting more folks involved in helping out. And the fireworks show could be phenomenal here.
You know, and we appreciate everything all of you do. We're seeing big changes in the city. We're noticing, you know, all kinds of new things that we appreciate. You drive down through town. I love the lights. The cafe lights over the city are just that's wonderful. The
Thank you for
music,
that.
you
Thank
know,
you.
we're doing good things here, and I think as long as we can all merge together, we can do a lot of great things. But
Thank you. Well, thank you both so much.
thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate
And-
Joe's time for letting me speak and
And-
extended time also.
No, absolutely. And please don't leave before I get to. I'm out of business cards in my holder, but I'm going to get you one. And I'm serious. We want to start collaborating. So
Sounds good.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Any other visitors wishing to address council? If not, oh, yes, sir.
My name is Joshua Kimbrell.
Yes.
I'm from out of town, from Winchester, neighboring city.
What's your address in Winchester?
238 Franklin Street.
238 Franklin. All right.
First off, I'm amazed. The city council, how you guys handled yourself, we don't see this in Winchester. There's no discussion back and forth. There's no clarifying. You guys all seem like you get along for the most part, and you guys all seem like you're handling your business and addressing stuff, and I applaud you guys for that. I do government accountability, and what I see here, I like. But at the same time, that's the good. Since I came here yesterday, I posted a video about Chief Wells and his son on YouTube, what's going on, digging into that. And since that video went up, I have had over 100 messages in less than 14 hours from your citizens here, asking me to come up here and redress their grievances for them because they're afraid of retaliation from this city. Now, you guys all seem transparent and everything, so I'm not 100% sure on all the facts behind this, but from what I just heard, your former mayor struck a man with his vehicle, and he's not in custody. That's a problem. There were witnesses and video of the crime being committed, and this man is still not in custody. I understand the ongoing investigation, but any other normal citizen was to do that, we'd be cuffed, locked up, and be sitting in Randolph County Jail right now. So I mean, that the extent of that, I don't know how severe it was. I didn't see the video, any of that. But I have a list of things that.
There is a video of you being. There is a video of that.
We haven't looked at our home surveillance videos, but I have home surveillance cameras up
Okay.
that are pointing toward that portion of the yard.
Okay.
And I also have a Ring doorbell
Okay.
that we have started to review that camera, but there were vehicles parked there, so you can't actually see. We haven't got to a point where we can actually see that. I have not reviewed the home video cameras at this point in time.
Okay.
So the only ones that we've reviewed is the Ring doorbell cameras.
Gotcha.
And there was actually someone standing right in front of the doorbell, of
Never
course,
fails.
when that happened. An Amish lady came out the
Oh.
door and was standing there.
Okay.
So, but I have not reviewed the home video surveillance footage just due to time restrictions
No, that's
with
okay.
family things
Absolutely.
going on. So, but there is home surveillance videos of that. They just
Okay.
haven't been reviewed yet.
Gotcha.
this
Thank
time.
you, Chief. Would you like to address the events of that evening with what, or at least where it's at with the investigation?
Well, it wasn't an officer witness misdemeanor, first of all, and that was what we have to determine. So you can't make an arrest on a non-witnessed misdemeanor.
Okay. Thank you for the
If it
clarity.
develops into something further, then yes, we would get a warrant. And I did interview people on there. We have body cams for those interviews.
Okay.
And then I readdressed a couple of witnesses today.
Okay.
So, and again, we did go, I tried to make contact with Mr. Conklin this morning, and he did respond back with his lawyer would be getting in touch with him,
Okay.
which is a right he has. He doesn't have to talk to me.
Can I rebuttal that? You claim that an officer could not arrest for a non-witness misdemeanor. So you never have ever arrested anybody, or none of your other law enforcement officers have ever arrested anybody for a misdemeanor crime they did not witness.
Not without a warrant.
Not without a warrant. So if somebody calls you and says there's a shoplifter at the store and they shoplift, you ain't slapping the cuffs on him?
Those laws
That's
have
a misdemeanor.
changed over the years,
Well,
and
we're-
no, we
we're-
haven't
we're being
been
straight
putting
misdemeanor. You've never ever. So if I go
I'm
public
not saying
records
we
request,
haven't never. I'm saying since the laws have changed,
what law has
we
changed
haven't.
that prevents you from doing that?
That law in particular, with theft from stores, that law
I'm not
changes.
talking about that. I'm
Josh,
talking
Josh,
about
Josh,
misdemeanor.
I'm sorry.
Let him
Hold on.
answer, please.
Yeah, let him answer. This is not interrogation. I appreciate what you're trying
I
to do.
just want clarification.
No, and then
I
let
don't want
him.
him going off the
let
rails
him-
into
you-
something
no.
else. I want misdemeanors.
I know, but let him
Not
answer.
theft.
You're a guest in this meeting. Let him answer, and then we can continue.
Theft is a misdemeanor.
I understand it.
Up
So
into a certain amount of money, then it becomes a felony. So,
I'm talking misdemeanors in general. You're categorizing one type of misdemeanor.
well,
I'm talking about
we
all
could
across the
spend all
board.
night talking about the law book, and there's just not enough time tonight to talk about
But you
that.
just claimed that you can't make an arrest on a misdemeanor that's
That
not
an officer
witnessed.
didn't witness.
So,
When did that law change? Just curious.
yes,
The theft?
You know, when you can't arrest because of hearsay,
a non-witness.
yeah, non-witness. When did that
It's
change?
always been like that.
Because my son was sure arrested for just somebody saying something and you guys came and arrested
I'm sorry. We don't know who you are. Apologies. Please stand and state
Sorry.
your name.
My name is
address.
Catherine Critt. I reside at 626 West Pearl Street, Union City, Indiana.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else?
Yes. So I don't know who Wes Lynch is, but I was told there was a preacher or something in one of your guys' church, and I was sent a quote from them on their Facebook talking about citizens here and their retaliation. And the quote says, "The loudest boos are coming from the cheapest seats." That's basically my interpretation of that is only the poor people are complaining about what you guys are doing. The upper class people are satisfied. But I've been asked to come here basically and start digging and investigating because that's what I do, bringing spotlight to that. So I just wanted to say hi and introduce myself and let you guys know that I will be here and I will be digging up police reports, everything else. And I'm going to hold you to that, Chief. I don't know you. We've had decent conversation here. And I'm going to be holding you to that non-witness misdemeanor because that's a load of crap. But other than that, Steve, if I may address you, this man apologized to you. You completely didn't make any eye contact with them. I don't know if you're so into your ego that you couldn't accept the man's apology for your words.
I would ask you have a code of conduct in this meeting room
I have
as
a
you have
fir-
witnessed.
I have-
As you have witnessed.
I have a First Amendment constitutional
You
right
do,
to
but you
speak
will
and
act in a
redress
decorum
my-
that is fitting for this meeting. Thank you.
Asking a question, and you keep interrupting my time. My time has been interrupted.
Because the way
3
you're
or 4
approaching
times.
us, you will
There
maintain a
is
level
no
of decorum.
guidelines to how you address your First Amendment. There's no restrictions on how you.
And I
address
don't have
your
to let
First
you speak
Amendment.
at this meeting.
Yes, you do.
No, I do
Technically
not.
Underneath Indiana code.
No, I do not.
The open meeting. I have.
I can
my
let
back
you be
pocket.
in here.
You can let me be here, but I have a First Amendment right to redress my grievances to governments in open meetings. So if you would really want to challenge me, I'd tell you this, Mr. Mayor, I'm not the one. I've gotten good feedback from you about your transparency.
Well, thank you.
But to talk about law, I don't think you're well suited enough to talk about it because I have the law here in my hand. And if you want me to pull up the Indiana IC code for open meetings on how I'm allowed to redress my grievances without being interrupted or anything, we can do that. And if you try to silence me, that's a federal 18
I'm
U.S.
not trying to
245
silence you.
code.
I'm asking you to have decorum.
You just told me, only if you allow me to speak. That's not how it works, Mr. Mayor. You don't give me that option to speak. I have that right to speak. That's what it is. It's called a right. It's not a gift. It's not from you. I have every right to come here and redress my grievances to this government. If you don't like that, tough cookies. Is that good for you? Like I was saying, Steve, this man apologized to you for the words back and forth. You didn't even have the respect to look him in his eye. You got so caught up in your ego, your head went straight down. Everybody else was laughing at the jokes and seemed like they were having a good time, a back and forth with this man. Are you so stuck up in your ego that you couldn't even say, apology accepted, I apologize as well?
No, sir. I was taking notes on my phone, and I have a business card here to shake his hand after the meeting and encourage him to reach out to me if you really want to know what I was doing. I'm working.
Joshua, have you ever talked to Steve before?
No.
Then how can you make assumptions of what his demeanor is when you don't know him?
With my own mind, looking at his body language.
So you're judging.
So to say, yeah, I am.
So you're, okay. I just want to make sure I got that straight.
Okay. Is there something wrong with that?
Well, I don't think it's a good habit to judge people.
Why? We do it every single day. Everybody does it.
So if people kill every day, that's okay to do too?
When you're driving your car and you see somebody coming at you and they cross the center line, do you judge automatically? Think, man, what's wrong with that guy? Was he drunk? What's wrong with him? Was he not paying attention? Everybody passes judgment every day, Mr. Mayor.
It's good to judge actions. You don't judge people. That's not your place. That's
I'm
not our
judging
place.
his actions on his lack of eye contact and looking down when the man was addressing him.
Okay, but you don't know him. I'm only encouraging you to get to know him.
I will be.
Okay.
I will be getting the fire chief and the city manager. I'll be getting his information, everything like that. I'll be getting it on all of you guys. Trust me. I'm not a thorn you want on your side.
Well, that doesn't intimidate me. That's fine if you're trying to intimidate us.
I'm not trying to intimidate.
Well, that's an intimidating statement. So
Is that your opinion? Are you judging, Mr. Mayor?
no, I'm just making a statement. When you say you don't want me as a thorn in your side, is that a statement you would consider intimidating?
Sounds like a threat to me.
Yeah. Okay. So beyond intimidation, maybe borderline threat. So
So
I'm
what's
just-
the IC code on a threat?
I don't
Well,
memorize.
you're claiming it's
Have
a
you
threat.
ever-
A threat's a crime.
Let me ask you: have you ever been a mayor? Have you ever been a mayor, Joshua?
No, I have
Have you ever
not.
been a police chief?
No, I have not.
Have you ever been a fire chief?
No, I have not.
Have you ever been in economic development capacity? Have you ever been in charge of economic development for an entity?
No.
Okay. Helping a small town is an arduous, pride-swallowing, exhausting task on a daily basis. I can make more getting my second job at McDonald's than I could in this role as mayor. But we are here because we love our community. We don't have to be here. I don't have to be sitting in this chair listening to someone standing there with a camera. In all fairness, I mean, it's great that you're here, but I don't have to be in this role. I don't have to. We do so because we love our community, And we love our community so much that we work fervently to make it better, to get the lights downtown, to restore old buildings that are well beyond keep sometimes, to find new businesses in this community, to help grow this community, to help support our neighbors, to help support our factories, to help our school, on and on and on, to fix the streets, to fix the, you name it, on. It never stops. It's an exhaustive process. So because of that, I don't spend time memorizing ICD code or IC codes for Indiana. I don't have time. I would not be doing my job if I did that. I'm sorry. That's just not going to help us.
I've never said anything about you memorizing the code.
You've asked me 3 times if I know specific codes. I don't know specific
codes. If you're going to make
codes.
a blatant criminal accusation as in threat, I suggest you know the code before you try to make that, because that's an arrestable offense. And obviously, if it was a crime, the police chief sat here and witnessed it, so he would be able to make that arrest on a misdemeanor if it was a threat.
Well, then that's fine. I'm just saying I don't memorize codes because our job here is just to help make our lives easier. And I hope you're involved in Winchester in helping. I hope there's a not-for-profit you're involved with. I hope there's something you do in evenings or weekends that helps folks better the community, and beautify the community, helps kids. I hope there's stuff you do, because that is what leaves a lasting impact on others. The social media thing, that's all fine, well and good. That's some people's mode of operation. That's their right. But unfortunately, in terms of helping a community,
other citizens that can't make it to the meeting.
and that's, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. And K.I.S.S is right behind you, so we have that. That's awesome, because the more people that see, the better. The more informed they can be. But our job here, number one, is just try to help this place be better than what we found it. That's all it is.
Is that what's going on right now? Now, I've heard nothing but good things about you so far, and me personally, I think you just dress a lot of crap up with some nice fancy words, and you like to hear yourself talk. That's just my opinion, Mr. Mayor. I don't know you personally. I'd like to get to know you and all your guys as council members, because you guys do seem like you have a good thing going on here compared to Winchester. My town needs a lot of work still, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here because, like I said, I had over 100 messages from 100 different citizens here in your town afraid to come speak because they're afraid of retaliation. I've been told, after you talk, you better make sure you got your dash cam and everything on your vehicle, because they're going to get you. Watch it outside the meeting. They're going to try to have you arrested if you speak against them. I've been warned about it. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to fight that battle.
I don't know of a single individual we've ever arrested after a meeting, so that we still shouting right now.
But like I said, back to my point, the loudest boos are coming from the cheapest seats. That's horrible. It's a horrible opinion. Everybody's voice should matter. Should not matter what's in their bank account. Should not matter what they're wearing.
Can you tell me about the Backstay Project?
The what?
The Backstay Project.
What's that?
Then you need to do more homework.
The what?
The Backstay Project.
Don't know what that is. Like I said,
okay.
I just started yesterday here in this town.
Well, then I encourage you to do some homework about what we offer for folks that have had some tough times and struggles in their life and don't have as much as others. That's what we're all about. Do you know about the Thanksgiving meal? No. Okay. We've served 700 meals through the fire department. Thanksgiving Day, drive-through, all 3.
Free.
So, I mean, I could go on, but it hurts my heart to say that, but I would reckon to think that there's probably been times that people have had struggles with you for one thing or another, and maybe it was a misperception that it wasn't fair. Maybe they cast accusations against you or thoughts on you, or maybe they put labels on you that were not accurate and not fair. That happens. I can't control that. And as far as the way you describe me and being all dressed up, and well, I have a job during the day that I have to do, and I have to dress up, and I work very hard for my job, and I have a heart for Christ. And it hurts my heart that you think that I'm a whitewashed stone or whitewashed tomb, if you will. If I don't know if you're aware of what that means, but that hurts my heart. And
I'm sorry for your heart. Maybe you can get a replacement. That's not what I said. Didn't say nothing about your outfit or anything like that. And yes, I have been labeled, but that's one thing about me. I really don't give a crap what anybody thinks about me. So that's never affected me. What I'm doing here now is because right is right, wrong is wrong.
Agreed.
The citizens here addressed a grievance to me. I'm bringing that grievance to you guys. I am notifying you guys that I will be in this city FOIA requesting everything I can, body cam footages and everything. If there's something there, I will find it, I will be digging. So when you guys see me coming to your offices and stuff like that, don't be concerned, don't call the cops, I have every right to be there. And I wanted to come let you know. But you,
Thank you.
you personally, shut up sometimes. Jeez.
Okay, you can sit down.
Excuse me?
You can sit down.
It's just inappropriate.
Yeah, you can sit down.
He was
Sir,
elected.
Sir, can I ask you a question? Are you monetized on social media?
Why is that?
That's a fair question.
Me? Yes, I am.
Okay, that's all I asked.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else they wish to address? If not, the date of our next council meeting is 2 weeks from now, be Monday, July 25th at 6 p.m. And the date of the next Board of Works meeting is Monday, July 25th at 1 p.m. I'll hereby entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a first, we have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.